Hello and welcome to the next episode of Feeding the Curious Mind. My name's John Pullen and I'm an author and a writer of books of fiction and non-fiction. Dead drunk for a penny. First thing I need to say is I'm in no way advocating it. In fact, I think you'd probably today find it very, very difficult to get drunk for a penny. But we're going to go back about 300 years to a time when gin first entered England. Now, most people today, and gin has taken off again in recent years, it's become a very popular drink. But most people think, yes, it's English. Well, no, it's not. It is Dutch. And in fact, it would have been William III in about 1689 when he took the throne in England that he introduced gin. Now, obviously, William was Dutch and he brought the gin with him and spread it around his court and found that it was a very, very popular drink with his courtiers. So he decided that he would perhaps make it more available to the poor in England. And to be poor in England in those times, you were very, very poor. You had hardly, well, literally 2 pennies to rub together. So in order for people to have the gin, he said that, okay, we will allow anybody, any household, to distill the juniper flavoured alcoholic drink and allow them to sell it on. So this was great. This was not only a very, very cheap way to get drunk, because that was basically their only leisure activity. They could also make a few pennies or more by selling their particular gin. The quality must have been pretty awful, but it was a great success for a while, because obviously lots and lots of people, men and women, became drunk, and eventually they lost their jobs, those that had jobs, so employment went up. Then many years later, of course, the death rate went up through alcoholic poisoning and other such diseases caused by the gin. William realised that this was going to be a big, big problem, because within 40 years of him introducing gin into London, it was reckoned that there was in the region of 7,000 gin shops just in London. The rate of which people drank it, by about 1740, that sort of time, they reckon that there would have been 11 million gallons of gin produced each year just in London. Now, if we look at the population, the male population of London at this time, that would meant that every male member of London would have drank 14 gallons of gin per year, over a gallon per month. So you can see there was a major problem. So what to do about it? The government of the day, in 1743, decided to bring in Acts of Parliament to ban the distilling of gin. Well, okay, that kind of worked, but it still didn't solve the problem. So they decided the only way to take it out of the reach of the very poor was to put the price up. So they did. And as a result, well, guess what happened? In 1743, after that act was passed, there was rioting in the streets by the poor. But the law was changed, and eventually, and it took a long time, but the mother's ruin, as it was called, because it affected women worse than men, it was said, and the drunk for a penny, dead drunk for twopence, were the sort of cliched sayings that went around at the time. But the problem was solved eventually, slowly, but eventually it was solved. And today you can probably have a nice gin and tonic and not feel too bad about it, because it's bloody expensive.